For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. How's it going today? You know what? There is a chill in the air, and I'm not just talking about the Kavanaugh hearings, but fall. October is here already, and what can I say? You know what? Where I'm from in Winnipeg, I can tell you summer ended and fall quickly came. We had very little rain the entire summer, and now all of a sudden it seems to be the rainy season. So I'm recovering from a little bit of a cold, but also from our supersized Scribble last week. If you didn't tune in, and I hope you do subscribe on SoundCloud and iTunes, but we did a 1-hour broadcast, and we had Cheryl Burke from Dancing with the Stars, Allison Janney from CBS's Mom, and Leslie Jordan from Fox's The Cool Kids on the show. And so 3 interviews, and then we also chatted about the Emmys and just some other TV stuff. So if you missed it, again, go to thescribbleshow.com or SoundCloud and iTunes, and that one was episode, let me look here, 188. Episode 188 was a 1-hour Scribble. So if you have some time to kill this weekend and it's raining and gross weather outside, definitely do check out that episode of the show. And so because we sort of expended all of our celebrity resources on the show last week, I'm just going to chat for 30 minutes, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk to you, the listener, for 30 minutes, because there's a whole bunch of stories in the news and some things that I kind of want your opinion on, and I hope you do chime in. You can email me. The address is live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com, and we're going to talk about Amber Alerts, nude pictures, and Bill Cosby. Lots of fun today on The Scribble. We'll get into it right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Now, fellow Canadians a couple of weeks ago got a very big scare in the middle of the night. An Amber Alert went out. Now, if you don't know what that is, an Amber Alert is when a child goes missing and police or authorities let you know that, hey, you need to be on the lookout for this kid. Now, Canada has a new emergency announcement system, and it basically goes to your cell phones. And it's a blaring siren, depending on the type of phone you have, a really, really loud squealing message to you, and also it gives you a text message. But certainly, it's a blaring siren. Now, I don't sleep with my phone. That's why I wrote the book called Put Down Your Damn Phone already. And 2, I wasn't in the country, so I didn't get it at the time. But a child went missing. This was a couple Sundays ago in the afternoon. There was an Amber Alert put out that was only pushed to people's cell phones in Manitoba, where I'm from after midnight. And so you can have your phone on silent, you can have your phone on Do Not Disturb, whatever it is, but if it's still connected to the wireless signal or Wi-Fi, you got the message. And what that meant is people had this crazy blaring siren right next to their head while they were trying to sleep. Apparently it woke up people, scared the crap out of them, and many couldn't get back to sleep. So on a Monday morning, you come in, cranky to work, most people had the same feeling. Now, this story brought up a couple of things, and I won't even get into what the Amber Alert was, although, you know what, should we? Let's do that. A mom left her special needs daughter in an unlocked car that was running in a mall parking lot. The car was then stolen. We don't know, I haven't followed the story since, but we don't know if the thief knew the child was in the back. Nevertheless, the child was found unharmed within 24 hours at least. And so there's two issues to this. One is the Amber Alert, and do you think it needs to go out for something like that in the middle of the night to, hundreds of thousands of cell phones across Canada when the person was in Saskatchewan and I'm from Manitoba, which is one province over, and also our friends to the west in Alberta also got the messages overnight. So this brought up a few questions as to, is it necessary? If it's something like a tornado that my life is in danger, okay. But if it's something about a kid somewhere far away from Winnipeg where I am, is it necessary? And I'm just putting this out there. I'm not saying that's my opinion. But these were discussions that people were having the next day because earlier this year, when the emergency message system was tested, it actually failed badly and most people didn't actually get the message. And so now the very first alert that most people get is this blaring siren in the middle of the night about a kid who's not even near you. So it pissed off a lot of people. My question to you is, you have your phone on in the middle of the night, and a lot of times for most people, social media notifications are okay. You've got no problem being woken up by those or, waking up and glancing over and reading the messages that you have on your phone in the middle of the night. But is it a bad thing when the message really isn't for you? It would be almost like getting a phone call, a wrong number in the middle of the night that wakes you up, right? It's not something that you were wanting or expecting, but it happened. And so in this case, this is a message that it's about a kid that I don't know, I don't care about, whatever could happen. And again, like I said, I'm just putting these out there as discussion points. I'm not saying this is my opinion, because obviously if anybody's life is in danger, it's a serious thing. Might not be to every single person, but it's definitely something of importance. So what do you think about that? If you're woken up in the middle of the night by a social media message, is that okay? Because it's for you? It's meant for you? You wanted to see it? But if you're scared crapless in the middle of the night by something that really it doesn't affect you because they're hundreds of miles away, would that piss you off? Again, send me an email, live@jbonair.com. Now, back to that actual story of the mom who left her kid in the car. I had written my newspaper column about that 2 weeks ago, the same week that it happened, and I really was aggressive on the mom. And I still make no apologies, because really I railed on her. I let loose, and I just said, you're an idiot, Mom. You are not the victim in this. I do not feel sorry for you, and a lot of people do not. That's fine that you went through hell because your child was lost. That's fine. You are not the victim. You might be the victim in a stolen car. Okay, fine, your car was stolen. You're the victim of that. The true victim in this is your daughter that you left unattended in unattended in an unlocked car that's running. Now, this is not even about the special needs thing, whatever. This is about a young girl who's not even age in the double digits yet. Most people would not leave their car unlocked and running if their dog was in it. And one person even wrote in and said, if you had $1 million in your back seat, you're going to guarantee you locked that damn door. And so people were telling me that I'm not a parent, I wouldn't understand. I don't think being a parent or not has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with it. I understand responsible, reasonable actions that people have, okay? That would be like if I left my gate open and my dogs go running out into the front street and get smoked by a car. That's fine, you can feel sorry for me, but I made the choice to leave that open, knowing full well the dogs can get out, run into traffic, whatever. When you leave your car unlocked, anywhere you go, if it's on your front street, if it's in a parking lot, if it's in a church parkade, whatever, you know that you're taking a risk that your car will get stolen. Not to mention you're leaving it running with your child inside. So I said that, we didn't hear much from the mom. And of course, like most parents, they were wanting privacy, they say, right? After this heartfelt plea on Facebook with the police that they wanted their child returned unharmed, that all of a sudden they want privacy. I'm sorry, you went public with your story, and you did this little crying thing that you wanted us to feel bad for you, and oh, woe was us. Well, here's the deal. You recklessly endangered the life of your child. Now, I said that's fine, the dust is going to settle, this person will get arrested or whatever for taking the car. What is going to happen to these parents? Will they face charges? That's child endangerment, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? Especially because it's a public story. You've got them admitting what they did. You want to report your car as stolen and your child lost, you got to tell the police what happened. You can make up a story, then you're going to face charges for lying to the police. But what do you think? Should the parents face any sort of disciplinary action? Now, again, some people were calling me god-awful names and just really bashing me, and that's fine. I can take it. That's why I put it out there. I love having an opinion, and I love being able to share it, because I also want to know what you think about the issues. But should they face punishment? And some people were saying that, well, they faced enough punishment because their child was missing and they were fearful for 24 hours. You know what? But that could also be something that your child is now going to be fearful for the rest of her life, right? She could be tormented with that. So what do you think? Send me an email. Again, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Chime in on the whole Amber Alert notification system. And what happened with these parents? And again, for the full story, you just Google it online. It was the Saskatchewan girl that was lost in the Amber Alert in Canada. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Live@jbonair.com. We're going to talk about leaking nude photos when we come back on The Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble, and again, we're at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Let's talk about responsible parenting once again. All right, so in the last segment I talked about Amber Alerts and, a mom just being really stupid and causing nationwide panic, basically. But what about when it comes to your teenagers taking selfies and sending out those half-naked or fully naked pictures? What do? Well, there is a campaign online, a social media campaign by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection and also some police departments. And what they're wanting to do is bring awareness, because they report that at cybertip.ca every week they receive an average of 7 requests for help from youth in crisis because of non-consensual sharing of a sexual picture. Now, the rep from this organization, Signe Arneson, the executive director at the Canadian Centre, says when a teen is in crisis because their intimate image is being shared, it can be devastating. We've lost too many kids who felt they had nowhere to turn. It's not enough to say don't send a nude. The reality is it is happening. We need to be working together to get teens the help they need when the situation gets out of their control. All right, let's talk about this here. They're saying that you need to do something about it after the fact. Here's the deal. Why are you taking the pictures in the first place? If I'm not mistaken, child pornography is illegal. So if you are creating child pornography and sending it out, you are breaking the law. Is that correct or is that incorrect? So it might not, it's fine if you take it and you keep it on your phone. Okay, great. But at the same time, if you know that your phone is connected to the internet and clouds and social media accounts and everything else like that under the sun, that is your own stupidity. And I say the same thing about celebrities who go public with a nude picture scandal because they got hacked. Again, they say don't blame the victims, but here's the deal. Sometimes the victims are the ones to blame. I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, I talked about it on this show, my house was almost broken into. I was home at the time, and people were ringing the doorbell and trying to break in. At the front of the house, where I was not, there were no lights on. I was at the back of the house in my office. The light in my office was on, but not at the front of the house. And so if somebody had come to the front door or the side, you would not have seen any lights on. Because I listened to my mom, right? Mom used to say, turn off the lights if you're not in that room. So I did that. And the doorbell was ringing, and people were trying to kick in the back door. Now, when my parents did come over, because I had to get my door fixed and do a bunch of things, my parents came over later that night and quickly blamed me because I had no lights on in the front. I had no lights on in the house. And then when the police came, they also pointed out that, well, it's kind of dark between the houses and there's a big tree that kind of blocks, so people have a easy time getting to the back door without being seen. I was essentially being blamed for people trying to break into my house. I get it. I needed some comforting and consoling. I kind of did get that from the police. Certainly not my own parents. Bottom line is, it was my own actions and my stupidity that led to that happening, right? Maybe you can say that that wasn't stupid on my part. But when it comes to taking nude photos, again, hacking is nothing new. If you have been on the internet for any length of time, you know that there are bad people out there who are doing bad things. So when it comes to children sending out nude photos, and this is where I take issue with it, because I am 36 years old, I have a decent body, so before you go and say, oh, well, you're just an old gross person, of course you better not send out nudes. I've never felt that I need to entice somebody with my body and what I look like. That's also partially why I got into radio and newspaper, so that I could be read or heard and not have to be seen. I'd much rather wow you with interesting conversation and thought-provoking dialogue, as opposed to, hey, look at my dick. And so I haven't ever taken nude photos of myself. So if you do search Jeremy Bradley naked pics, those are photoshopped. I can guarantee you that 100%. Or they were taken without my knowledge somewhere. And the bottom line is that I have not knowingly sent out nude photos of myself anywhere, because I don't feel that that's why you need to appreciate me. And so when it comes back to this whole, well, we need to help kids once they have been victimized, or how to prevent being victimized, how about teach them to have self-worth so they don't feel they need to strip down and send pictures to their boy or girlfriends in school to be appreciated and liked for what their body looks like. Hey, look at my big tits, Joey. Oh, hey, Roxanne, take a look at my big dick. Is that really why you want to be liked? Maybe parents should be stepping in and saying, why do you feel the need to take those pictures? Why do you feel like you need that attention? Do you really need to be liked for that? Maybe that's where the education comes in, and not, here's how we can help kids that have been victimized by sending out their nude pictures and having them shared without permission. I think we're kind of missing the point here. Now, again, there's probably more. There's a whole education campaign or component to this, but I think that that's kind of where it starts back at home, is why are you taking these pictures in the first place? Not, here's what you can do after the fact if all of a sudden somebody's screwing with you. Because really the messaging is, we want people to know that sharing other people's nude photos is against the law in Canada. That's kind of the messaging of the campaign. But again, I think it needs to be dialed back a little bit more, because it should be, why are you 15, 16, 17 years old and taking these pictures in the first place? That, mom and dad, is what you should be talking to your kid about. Not, well, we better call the cops because this person sent out your nude photos. No, mom and dad, you should be giving your kid shit for taking those pictures in the first place. Would love to know your thoughts on this. Send me an email. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. You know, see, as I get older, I guess I have no patience for stupidity. And I wrote a newspaper column called that. And I just feel like if you use your best judgment and then okay. You've used your best judgment. You thought you were making the best decision. Everybody makes mistakes. But you've got to think about how your actions are going to affect you. You always hear about that when it comes to what you post on social media. You know, would you want your mother seeing that? Would you want your prospective boss seeing that? It's not even about that. It's do you feel degraded? If I feel that I need your attention or you're asking to see my naked pictures, and if I don't send them, you're never going to talk to me again, good riddance. Kick dirt, kick pavement, kick rocks, whatever it is, get the frick out of my life then. If that's what you feel, if that's what's most important to you, really? That's what you need to see of me? No. And here's the deal. If I want you to see me naked, I'll invite you over and you can see me naked, okay?
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble again, thescribbleshow.com, SoundCloud, iTunes. We're on the Twitter at The Scribble Show. Thanks for giving us a listen. It seems like there's just this overbearing trend Hollywood, well, in Washington and Hollywood. It's that whole sexual harassment thing, sexual assault, rape, you name it. Bill Cosby, as we know earlier in the week, was sentenced 3 to 10 years behind bars in the slammer lockup after he's basically called a dangerous sexual predator by the judge. And again, we're not breaking any news here. We've been talking about that all week on our show Entertainment Wrap-Up. Now, he's 81 years old. A lot of people are saying, oh, take it easy on him, right? His defense team wanted house arrest, but, for his birthday in the summer, there was a string quartet or an orchestra or, some sort of a band that was playing at his house. And again, when you're a millionaire living in a mansion, house arrest, okay, no. And then it's like, well, he's old, he's legally blind, you can't do that to an old guy. I'm sorry, what did he do to these other people, though? It's really not about that. As they say, the law knows no age. So you could be 97 years old, and if you raped and killed a 6-year-old boy or girl or dog or something, then you do the time. If that's what the law affords, then go for it. So I realize that he could have had up to 30 years if he could have got 10 years for each charge or each count. But they didn't. He didn't get that, and they took it a little bit easier. And so, that's kind of a big range, 3 to 10, right? There's a 7-year variance there, or difference. But what do you think is the right punishment? Has he learned his lesson? Because now he's shamed. He's, apparently losing all of his money. He hasn't. We just read earlier this week there's a lawsuit that his ex-legal team, apparently he's owing them over $200,000 because he hasn't paid the legal bills. And again, this is a guy who's got money, so it's not like he's broke. But is he just has he thrown in the towel and is like, you know what, I'm not going to pay the lawyers, I'm going to jail, this is going to happen? Like, what should have happened? What is the right outcome here? What's the right resolution? Time behind bars, house arrest, publicly shamed to, confess and beg for forgiveness. I don't know. Again, I'm one of those people who, if the law allows you to be sentenced this much and you have all of these cases... Now, again, I realize this is about Andrea Constant. This was about one woman. And as we've heard, there's been, 60 or 80-something others who have come forward in recent years. But again, you're being sentenced on this one case, not every single case or other person who's come forward. I get that. But you do take a person's prior actions and things like that, I believe, when a judge is coming up with the penalty, right, with the punishment. So is 3 to 10 years, again, so everybody's saying, oh, well, he'll be 91 potentially when he gets out. Well, I'm sorry, but if you thought that you could get away with this for however many decades that you were, at least in this one case, convicted of, so I can say that you were doing it because you have been found guilty. Others, he hasn't necessarily been proven guilty, right? So we don't necessarily know all of the cases, but everybody's stories do sound oddly similar. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
It is my Auntie Pat's 70th birthday today, and I'm going to have a bit of fun with her. Let's call her right now.
Hello?
Hello, palliative care, please.
Pardon me?
Palliative care, please.
You have the wrong number.
Is this Patrice Radston?
Yes.
Oh, hi, it's Jeremy Bradley joining you on the radio right now. How are you?
Jeremy, I'm going to kill you.
We are celebrating a very big milestone today. It is your 75th birthday, Patrice Radston, and we have a special game for you. I hope you have a few minutes. We're catching you spontaneously on the phone here. And are you ready to play a game with us?
You're dead. Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of your loved ones on the line waiting to help you win money. Everybody loves money, right?
Oh, I sure do.
All right, well, we're going to play a game called Words. Very simple. A bunch of your loved ones are on the phone, and we're going to see if you can guess their answers when they fill in the blanks. So, for example, I'll say, describe Patrice's cooking in 2 words. If you correctly guess their answer, you'll get $75 in honor of your 75th birthday. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, it does.
All right, okay, good. We've got all the lines blinking here. Everybody's on hold. I hope they get this right. Don't hang up on anybody. Okay, let's do this. We've got your daughter. Oh, Toshia. Toshia's on the line from Quebec. Hey, Toshia.
Hi there.
A big day today, isn't it?
It is a big day today. It is Mom's 74th birthday.
70, isn't it? It's a remarkable. So, Patrice, we asked Toshia to give us 2 words to describe your parenting style. What 2 words did she use to describe your parenting style, Patrice?
Oh, very lenient.
Very lenient. Over to you, Toshia. What was your answer?
Cheap wine.
Oh, that one was maybe just a miss. All right. Well, thanks, Tosh.
No problem.
And now we're going to move across the country here to Winnipeg now, where we've got your brother Jimmy on the phone. Now, Jimmy, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Well, big day today, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. 76 is a biggie.
All right. Well, stand by with your answer, Pat. We've got 1 word on this one. We asked Jimmy to describe what you mean to his kids. 1 word. What do you mean to Jimmy's kids?
Wonderful.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to Jim. All right, Jim, what's your answer?
Inheritance.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that one didn't quite go as planned. Your sister Deanne, she's known you for about 70 years or so. If there's anyone that you're going to be on the same page with, it's got to be your sister, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Deanne is joining us. Sit tight there with your answer. But, Pat, we asked Deanne to tell us in 5 words about the first story you ever read to her when she was growing up. So what 5 words? Pat, what was the first story you ever read to your little sister?
Once upon a time there.
Okay, well, let's go over to Deanne. Deanne, what's your answer?
It was a boob card.
Oh, a swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Let's jump over to Alberta, where your grandson, Devon, is joining us. Devon, are you there?
Hello.
Big birthday today, right?
Yeah, it's a big one. I heard it's her 88th today for my good old grandma Patrice.
Oh, 80, well, 70-something. Okay, well, Pat, we asked Devon to tell us in 4 words the best gift you ever gave him. 4 words, best gift from you. What did he say?
Oh, my God. Best gift I ever gave him. Well, you got me stumped.
4 words, best gift.
Blank.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, Devon, what's your answer?
Well, that's money to move away.
Not quite a heartwarming match anyway. All right. Well, maybe friends. Friends are a good way to go because we're sort of striking out here with family. Pat, one of your former co-workers is on the line. Nadia, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, I know, Pat, you worked with her for many, many years, so this one should be simple. We asked Nadia in 2 words to describe your work ethic. Pat, what did Nadia say?
Slave driver.
Oh my, that's confidence. Over to you, Nadia. What 2 words?
She didn't.
Oh, she didn't. Well, the truth comes out, doesn't it, everybody? That one was close, but not quite. Well, you know what? Thanks for celebrating the big day with us, Nadia.
The big 9-0.
Thanks, Nadia. Oh my, I'm starting to sweat here. All right, there's got to be who is your best friend in the world? Somebody that's gonna absolutely, positively, guaranteed know the answer to the question.
Lois.
Well, here's a surprise. Lois is on the phone. Lois, are you there?
I am.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Big celebration today, isn't it?
That's Pat's 77th birthday.
Isn't it? Time flies. All right. Well, I know that, Pat, you spend a lot of...
She doesn't look a day over 80.
Hey, that's a Jeremy line. That's a Jeremy comment.
Okay.
All right. So, Pat, we asked Lois. You spend a lot of time together in the West Coast. So, tell me, Pat, in 3 words, what would Lois say is your must-do activity when you get to Vancouver Island?
Eat crab.
Lois, what's your answer?
She goes skinny dipping.
I think this goes down as the biggest game show failure ever. Well, I thank everybody who's participated. Pat Radston celebrating her 75th birthday today. Pat, what are you going to do for your birthday today?
Oh, I'm going to go out drinking with my friends.
Okay, well, maybe you guys can get to know each other after you bombed on these answers, hey?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we're wishing you a happy 75th today, Patrice Radston. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy birthday, Patrice.
We're out of time on The Scribble. My name is Jeremy Bradley. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Again, the email address, live@jbonair.com. Bye-bye.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,